So Pocket Cinema Camera 4K for us is the next range in our camera options. It's built on the original Pocket camera, which was a HD variant, and the success of that particular product. There's been a lot of interest about when we'd have a 4K option in this particular family range, and this camera answers a lot of the questions that customers had and gives us a really nice small compact platform for us for a 4K camera. It's built with the same micro four thirds lens mount, so existing customers or customers with micro four thirds lenses can use those and adapt them straight onto the camera. And one of the key technologies we put in is obviously the sensor that we're working with in the Pocket Cinema Camera 4K. Not only does it give us 4K resolution, it also gives us the ability with the dual ISO function to have an increased capability in low light and address some of the sort of practical problems that people had working with Blackmagic cameras before in sort of lights, low light situations like this. So the dual ISO system we have has two analog gain circuits which kick in automatically and give us a massive range of capability in the camera. Camera records RAW internally as well, which we think is a massive advantage in most cameras we're working with in this kind of environment. We want to record RAW in the camera, retain all the latitude and 13 stops of dynamic range we have in the camera itself directly to the media. And then something that's quite new, unique and something introduced on this camera that isn't available elsewhere is a USB-C output. So that means if we're limited by some of the space or the cost of internal media on SD cards or CFast, we can actually start to now use USB-C external media, and that gives us some workflow advantages as well. So we can take the SSD media straight from the camera, plug it into our post-production workstation, and not only have we shot straight to that media, we can then edit and grade from that media. We really feel that the camera is designed for creative professionals, whatever the budget. So we always want to be able to give technology like this and the capability this camera has to anybody that really will empower their creativity, deliver productions and give them high digital cinema technology at a really affordable cost. But what we found with the Pocket camera, the original Pocket camera that we did, and we hope is the same with 4K, is the quality speaks for itself. The fact that it's 13 stops of latitude, it records internally, and it has now this capable dual ISO function to give us such a brilliant sort of range of exposure and dynamic range control. It'll get adopted into a number of productions and hopefully seen even at the higher end, which will really give us some sort of strength behind the technology and give people that are interested in Pocket camera a sense of what they can achieve with it. But really it's designed for giving the access to this technology to whoever would go out, and it's massively affordable. What we looked at with the 4K version with Pocket Cinema Camera was to change some of the control and give a lot more control to the user in terms of some of the buttons we have across the top, the functions that we have, and the ability to control your exposure whilst using the camera. So whilst you can adjust exposure and all those elements on the touchscreen, they're quicker if they're available immediately to you here. And then one of the other things that we looked at was the audio. So the audio capability of the Pocket camera for HD was kind of okay. It was more of a scratch audio system, so it gave us some background track audios. You'd always use external audio for vocal, but the microphone system that's designed for Pocket Cinema Camera 4K is considerably better. It's completely redesigned, and we have two external microphones built into the camera that will give you vocal quality in terms of audio. And the way that we've designed it is that even when you're working in handheld directionally, you should be able to get some high quality audio into the recordings as well. If you do want to use external audio, on the side of the camera we do have input jacks for a mini jack audio, but also then a mini XLR input. So that's a professional connection that was lacking on the other Pocket camera, which gives us sort of a balanced and controlled audio input, but also gives us phantom power if needed as well. So we've really not just looked at retaining the video quality on the camera, we've looked at how you improve the audio around that as well. The Pocket Cinema Camera, that product is a number of years old, but since then we've actually developed Blackmagic OS. So this was a better way of us controlling the user interface within our touchscreen systems. So the Pocket Cinema Camera 4K uses the same Blackmagic OS and control menu system as the Ursa Mini and the Ursa Mini Pro. So if you're familiar with those cameras, it's got the same touchscreen control. So pretty much all of the options we want are logical. So if I change between certain recording formats, it follows that the information underneath addresses what the first choice was and logically gives you the options, and it's a much more intuitive way. And then when you've got certain options like white balance, we can then even just go through on the touchscreen and we have an auto white balance option.
Okay.